Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Crafts with old John from ProCrafts. Here we are at the table this morning real quick. I want to do something super quick with you because I want to answer a couple of questions that I got yesterday really quick. Let's put the yellow up here so we can enjoy that for a little bit. This came up last night in George's live. He was, of course, doing his daily practice. And somebody who shall remain nameless was making fun of me because I snap my fingers a lot. Right, I'm a snapper, as you know. I don't snap when I throw the dice, but I snap to kind of get myself in rhythm. And I made the comment: has anybody ever seen the people that snap the dice? And I think Skill and Luck was like, "What are you talking about?" And I would try to explain it. I couldn't explain it. There's a video out there of a guy who got yelled at by the box person for snapping the dice, and I wanted to show you what I meant by that. So this is a dumb little demo, but. And this is kind of like a street dice thing, but a lot of guys will take the dice in their hands and they'll sort of like offset them and snap them like this. It's kind of like roll them together and kind of have them make that noise, right? And what it does, obviously, is it tears up the edges. You just enough times to the dice, you snap them like that. You hear that little click. Enough times of that, the edges just go away. It softens them up. Again, it's a superstitious thing that a lot of street dice players will do, but that's what I mean by. And I'm not very good at, but snapping the dice is basically just kind of rolling them in your hands and make them click. And a lot of guys do that before they throw. Anyway, there's that. The other thing I wanted to talk about was somebody had asked me, do I like to bet just 6 and the 8 or bet inside or bet across? And what's the real difference? And I want to give you a super quick look at what the real difference is. And it's not huge, but you've got to understand your expectations. So I want to show you super quick because I'm here at the table anyway. Let's do this. So if you bet, let's say $30, okay, on the 6 and the 8, look at your expectations. And this is like, I think the thing that we all have to remember, which is what are the probabilities? Even though the probabilities never actually come out the way that they should, your overtime average is going to be this. You have $30, let's just take one of them on the 8. On the 8, this bet's going to lose 6 times. Out of 36 rolls. And again, probability speaking only. We'll look at 36 roll probability. It's going to lose 6 times. It's 7 rolls 6 ways, right? You're going to lose 30 times 6 or 180. Guaranteed, right? You're going to lose 180 on those bets, on that bet for sure. 6 times you're going to lose 30 to 180. You're going to win though. How many times will you win? Right? You're going to win 5 times and the wins are going to be $35. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins. At $35. I'm going to show you what House Edge looks like at the same time. There's $35 in wins. Okay, I picked the right number of chips there. What does that add up to? Well, let's add it up. There's 125, there's 150, and there is 175. So you're going to lose 180, you're going to win 175 on just the 8, which means your expected loss on the 8 is I'll put it right here, $5. And the same for the 6. The expected loss on the 6 and 8 over an average 36 rolls is $5 if you just same bet it and let nature take its course. That's the 6 and the 8. Okay. The 5 and 9 work similarly. $25 is your bet. You're going to lose that 6 times, which is $150. You're going to lose $150 for sure on the 5 or the 9. Now, what do you win? 5 times or 4 times. $35. Let's see what that looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4 times 10, 20, 30, like that. 4 times 35. What does that add up to? Well, there's 100, 10, 20, 125, 135. Okay. Look at the net loss there. Your expected loss, right, is going to be 125, 140. So your net expected loss is $10 on the 5 or the 9 over the course of the 36 rolls. Looking at the 4 and 10, it gets a little better at the 4 and 10 because you're going to bet a quarter. Okay, you're going to lose how many times? 6 times, 150. You're going to lose 150 on the 4 and 10. You're going to win if you buy it. If you buy it, you're going to win $49 when you buy it. Okay, so you're giving up the buck. To do that, you're giving up the buck. It's going to cost you $50 for one when you buy that thing out. Your net loss there is going to be $3, actually $6, because of your vig and the payment. You pay $1 to get a $49 payment. You understand? So your net loss there is going to be $6 on the 4 and the 10, a little bit worse than the 6 and 8, not as bad as the 5 and 9. And if you look at this all the way across, if you're betting across, 160 across, and the right number of combinations comes out, here's your expected loss. 10, 20, 30, 40, $2. That's your expected loss over betting across. Now, do you want to take that risk over 36 rolls? Or do you want to go just in here, which, as you can see, is the lowest house edge, is the 6 and 8. $5 loss over 36 versus 6 versus 10, right? That's why the 5 and 9 are some of the worst bets here, even though they hit quite frequently. Do you do this and just sit around and wait, right? You've only got 10 ways to win on those. This can be kind of boring, right? You may go 36 rolls and not see a 6 or 8, okay? Which is why some people advocate for betting across. I'll put the bets back out here. Betting across and saying, well, I'll take my chances with whatever comes. I have more shots at getting money off the table. And if you're playing a style where you say, I'm going to take 2 or 3 hits and run away, right? You're not going to see 36 rolls in that mini session. Likely, you're probably going to be in a better situation than waiting these out. We're playing the 6, 7, 8 this week, and I'm playing just the 6 and the 8. And that's why somebody asked me, why not just play across? Well, today we're going to play Jacob from Wager Me This's version of the 6, 7, 8, which has you betting a little more aggressively across, and it's for this reason. Okay, and again, we're going to be aware of the probabilities and understand what's likely to happen to us. I wanted to show you that really quick because somebody asked me yesterday, why just the 6 and the 8 versus all of them? And again, it comes down to the expected loss and what I'm willing to risk in paycheck mode. Okay, and I think you got to think about that. What is your expected loss? Again, if you're betting across, you're going to give up $42 on the average every 36 rolls by doing this. Now, you may catch it where you catch all 4 of your 9s back to back. Great. Press, 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 press. Out of here. Bye-bye. You can make money if you catch a little variant like that. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that. I wanted to make sure that we had a chance to kind of cover a little bit because somebody did ask that question. So, all right, let's come back. Let's come back over here and look at me in all my glory. Good morning. Good morning. Whew, boy. Let's see. This is kind of a long show today. I got a lot of things I want to cover. So let's just jump right into it. Do a quick recap of yesterday's play. We'll take a look at Wager Me This's version of the 6, 7, 8, and I do have a little mini lecture in there about. I hate to keep lecturing on math, but yeah, wager. That's why you have to have some moves, right? That's the whole deal. Now let's get into it. Let's talk about yesterday's 6, 7, 8. Yesterday I played the 5, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. The super simplest way to play it. Okay, and I took a little bit of heat from Duracell about doing that one first. Jacob is kind of the voice of the 6, 7, 8. I chose the 5, 5, 5 version because it's just the simplest literal 6, 7, 8. It's the 6 and 8 and it don't pass and nothing else. That's all that it is. And you play it pretty mechanically, right? A little sister press on the 6 and 8, and you come back down, and it's very easy. Today, we're going to go over the wager version. And again, the wager version, there's no rules to it. There's some rules, but there's not a lot of rules to it. It's very much, let's see what's happening kind of a thing, okay? But we won. We won $178 yesterday. It was actually pretty easy. It was almost a no-brainer. I don't know that the regression part of that is the smartest way to do it. And Jacob, if you didn't see it yesterday, what I did was I started out with $30 6 and 8. On the first hit, we pressed them both by 18. We took the full 35, dropped a buck, went 18 and 18 to $48 each, took the $56 payment, brought them both back down to $18. That one move locks up the entire gambit. Everything is paid for on that second hit. The problem is you don't always get the second hit. The other problem is now you're down at $18 and it's hard to make money from $18. You got to really work. You got to have a good roll to make money from that point forward. So I worry that in the long term, that's going to be tough to play paycheck style with, but we'll see. All right, there's a quick recap. Again, we're going to play it a little more aggressively. We'll do a little bit of iron cross today. We'll do some across betting. We'll get some bigger odds out there. We'll take advantage of our bankroll and get a bigger don't out there too. We'll use Jacob's 10% rule on the don't pass. So it'll be a little different feel today. A little more volatility in the initials, but I think a little more ease in getting our 10%. So let's see if that works out. Next up, a couple announcements here. Friday night fights. Again, don't forget Craig and Corey. Friday, the 6-time champion versus the 6-time champion. It's like the battle royale here. and I will be using the bubble. So be ready for some earplugs to hear the bubble. And Chiro made his way around the craps universe yesterday, didn't he? We did our little tribute for him yesterday, and then we saw when I rolled my 11 rolls, 2 yos, 2 mixers, which was pretty cool. Jeff and his show hit the ATS with the freaking 11. Got in the ATS yesterday. Like, you tell me Chiro wasn't watching that. Rick Sauer, one of our subscribers, was at the casino, and he had a bad run, and he bought him for like $500. He got himself down to about 100 or thereabouts, and he's like, well, let's just see what happens. And the next roll of the dice, if it's a 11, I'm staying. If it's not an 11, I'm going home. Shooter rolls an 11. Okay, he puts his $100 back out there. Guy goes on a heater. He cashes out for $1,100. He didn't even realize. He got to the cage, and it was like $1,100. Are you kidding? Like, right? Crap and Camper Brian, who's been on our show a number of times with the Friday Night Fights. I put a picture of this out in the Slack or in the Discord yesterday or the day before. One of his friends, I think it's a friend of his or his cousin or something, who is a race car driver, put "Let's Go Yo" on his race car on the hood. So there's actually Chiro was driving around the track with him that night. The guy started from the 11th spot. He finished 11th, and he made the cut. Whatever. I don't know if it was for the next race or for the next weekend, but he ended up making the cut, starting from the 11th position, finishing 11th, and makes the cut. So I mean, Waylon put a strategy out that was had the yo in every bet. I mean, Chiro made the rounds here. He was definitely flying around and throwing yos all over the place, which was kind of cool. So Godspeed, my friend. That was very appropriate by you to do that. Okay, next things up. Don't forget this, please. The Pacific Northwest meetup is in a month. It's the August 8th now. It's in September 15th. We're within almost a month of it. We're still working on rooms. Corey, Sith Lord SB, is working on an Airbnb, which you know, like an 8-person house. If you're gonna come, let's hook up with that. Hotel rooms here ain't cheap. McMinimans is $250 a night. Tulalip is $300 a night. We're trying to get some deals on that, but it's hard. There's a couple of regular hotels that are around my house that are about $130 or so a night. But let's figure it out. We got to get some people mover cars and that kind of thing. So I know there's a bunch of folks from this area that are going to be here, but if you're going to come, get your tickets, get your rooms now. I mean, it's time. Go to crapsforthecure.com. You can hit the little button, buy your entry ticket. Let me know that you're coming. And that's that. Get out here. All the money is going to go again to Veterans Moving Forward. That's our charity for this year. Veterans Moving Forward, they raise and train service animals, dogs specifically, for veterans with PTSD. It's a very targeted charity. They work on a pretty small budget. They got I think I was looking at their financials last year. They took in only $500,000 in total donations. There's like 4 of them that work there full time, and that's all they do. So they could use the help, and our money will go directly into a dog or 2 that will help with that. So, I mean, it's going to be like the most tactical thing we could do. Also, to be announced later, I'm letting Crystal have some space right now, but I'll talk to her a little bit about, we talked about doing like a scholarship fund for Layla, something like that, but I don't want to bog her down with any kind of details. We all know that we want to do something. Let's let that settle in, and then we'll figure that out. If it's in your heart to keep giving, great. You had the link for the MidmoYo PayPal account. Crystal does have ownership of the account, so there's no worry about it being shut down because he's passed. She can get to it. It's all good. So you can keep pushing money there at PayPal. It's paypal.me/MidmoYo. So there is that announcement. Now, let's get into, I think I've got something else to say here. What else I got to say? Let me see. What's coming up here? Yeah, this came up yesterday. So in my live show yesterday, doing the Dice Throwing in the Garage, somebody said, and I don't need to call names. Somebody said, you're not following the trend. And somebody else said, variance equals trending. And I'm like, no, y'all are wrong. I want to take 5 minutes today, maybe 10, to explain this to you in the best way that I can. And I'm glad that Jacob's here too, because this is, you cannot run from the math. I mean, I don't want to be a math guy. I don't want to be like all locked in on that kind of stuff, but you got to know the math, and you got to be like embracing of the math. And here's some inconvenient truths that we have to face, okay? Number one, the probabilities never change, okay? Where's my dice? Out of 36 rolls or 36 combinations, that never changes, right? When you pick the dice up on your next throw, you still have the same chance. It's still 5 out of 6 of the times you're going to roll a 6 or an 8. You can't change that. There's no way to change the nature. That's what it is. DI is a different topic, but on the whole, you cannot change probability. That will never ever change. Okay? And further to that, causality does not exist. The fact that I rolled a 9 just now does not mean a 9 is coming. Right? The fact that I've rolled 3 9s in the last 5 rolls, which happens quite a bit, does not mean the 9 is hot or is coming. Because of point number one, the probabilities never change. The next roll of the die has nothing to do with what happened, right? It feels like it does. It looks like it does. We say out loud that, oh my God, the 9s are hot. Get on the 9. Jacob yesterday in a video I watched of his rolled 5 horns in a row. And he said, oh my God, we should have been on that. There's no way to know you're going to roll 5 horns in a row. And the fact that he did had nothing to do with the roll before. It just happened that way, right? It is what it is, right? You cannot change that. Nothing, in my opinion, is ever due. I don't like saying, I know Jacob says this a lot. He says a lot of times, you know, the 7 comes every 6 rolls or so. Average shooters rolls 8.5. That's averages. Can't change the averages. If you get to roll 9, it doesn't mean the 7's due. It just means that you're in a variant where the 7 hasn't shown up for a little bit. It's not due. It's still an 84% chance of it not coming. It's still a 16.67% chance that it is. That doesn't change. It's not due. You just haven't seen it in a minute. Okay. Over time, over averages, yeah, the averages spell it down to 6, 1 out of 6, or 8 rolls per shooter. You can't change that. There's no changing it. Okay. Nothing is impossible. We've seen people roll 10 10s in a row. I've seen, like I said, Jacob rolled 5 horns in a row. I've rolled 6 7s in a row. I saw a guy at the casino with Ian one night. We were both there, and the guy rolled 6 11s in a row. Like, things happen that are impossible. What is impossible, largely impossible, mathematically speaking, is a perfect pyramid. You'll almost never see a perfect 36 roll pyramid. We can roll out 36 rolls here every day for the next 5 years. You'll never see a perfect 36. That's impossible. Okay. So that's something you have to know. The fact that it'll never be perfect is an important thing that we have to realize. Okay. The other thing I say all the time is this: you will lose for sure, on average, 1 out of 6 of your exposed bets. So this is to go to all the people who like to turn their bets off because of a condition. I've seen Charlie does. I won't go on until I see 2 7s, and then my bets go on. Then he rolls a freaking 7, right? This is fallacy also, or to believe otherwise is fallacy. The people who do the 5 count. I'm going to wait for a shooter to roll 5 before I go in. Well, it doesn't matter. You can wait 5 rolls, turn your bets on, turn your bet off. Wait 5 rolls, turn your bet on, turn your bet off, repeat, right? You're exposed for still 6 rolls. Over 30, you're still exposed for 6. You're losing one of those bets. Just the way that it is. You cannot fight that. Your bets will lose 1/6 of the time they are exposed. That's the nature of the 7. Can't fight it. You can't fight the probability. Can't fight the math. You can't fight what's reality. That is, unfortunately, for you all, that is the reality of the situation, okay? And again, you are in a long game. I think Darksider might have said this yesterday. You're playing the short game. It's a true and a false statement. In the moment, you're playing 36 to 100 rolls, whatever that is. You are there for the short moment. And I have made that argument myself to mathematicians many times. You're only here for a little bit, right? In this moment, this is happening. That's why I'm making this decision. You got to remember, when you string it together, me, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, 100, 100, 100, 100, I've seen 400 consecutive rolls. They weren't at the same time, in the same hour, with the same shooter, but I saw 400 consecutive rolls over the course of 4 days. Cannot run from that. I am in a long game. My long game is just separated by a few nights of sleep. Still a long game. It doesn't matter. So you might have a great little variant here and a really bad variant in the second session. It's no different than you being at a table and having a table go south on you. It's the same thing. You're in a long game all the time. You have to realize that. In the moment, in your short window that you're there at a table, if you can take advantage of what's happening right there, that can mitigate some of the pain in your long game that you're actually playing. Your lifetime of play is a long game. You got to remember that. Don't fall into the trap of I'm playing a short window, because you are, but you really aren't. And all of that has to string together. That's why Windcrafts is so important. When you look at Windcrafts, you see these big, long, jaggedy charts in Windcrafts, right? That can represent one session. When I showed like here's my rolls against 10,000 shooters, like 10,000 rolls. Yeah, that's 100 rolls a week, 100 rolls a day over the course of a year. That's exactly what your life is like. If you would have charted the table, and one of those files that I've got is somebody charting a table that they're playing at every time they went. 10,000 of those rolls in one of those files is live table play over the course of like 6 months. It's a long game. We're all playing the long game. Do not fall into the trap that you're playing a short game. You're not. Trends are a myth, and this is going to piss people off. I used to say this a lot too. The word trend has got to go away from your vocabulary. I don't care what your name is. I don't care how much money you think you've made in this game. You are not trend betting. You're fooling yourself if you think you are trend betting. Here's the truth, okay? Here's the word. Variant is the word you want to use. Variance or variance. That's the only constant in a mathematical game or in a random game. Variance is the constant, which sounds weird, okay? But you're never going to find a perfect 36. It's always going to be off by something. 1 less 7, 1 more 6. 3 less 7s, 4 more 4s. 1 less 6. You're going to find variance like that. Can you get there on your own is going to be kind of like the real question, right? But that's the thing. Variance is just the difference from expectation, right? The 36 roll pyramid is an average. It's not constant. Variance is constant. Now, people who believe in trend betting think that the variant is a trend. And my friends, it's not. Trending by itself is a tendency. The definition of trend is a tendency. What you're feeling happen around you is a cluster. A bunch of 9s just happened. A bunch of 6s just happened. 7s are gone for a minute. It's a cluster of non-outcomes for a 7. Those clusters aren't trends. It's a variant that happens to be like close together. In 36 rolls, you might see 5 6s. You might see them on the first 5 rolls. That's a cluster. Over the next 30 rolls, you might see 0 6s. You're still on average, right? Those clusters, those streaks, that's what you're fooling yourself into thinking that you're seeing a trend. You're not. A trend is a tendency, and a tendency has force behind it, not randomness. We are playing a random game. There's no force behind a random game. And that's, I think, one of the more important things that I think you have to realize and use your words correctly. Variance is the thing. Now, in a variant, you have 2 choices. You can bet the variant. And what I mean by bet the variant is if it's going your way, you know me, I'm the don't pass, I'm super aggressive, right? I catch a winner, I stack that bitch up. I catch another winner, I might stack it up a second time and go for that 3 in a row. Boom, 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 get out of there quick. I might hammer a variant like that. Guys who press in the box are trying to hammer what they think is going to be a variant. Can you detect a variant? No. You can hope that you're in one and bet it appropriately. And if the variant holds, right, that's when you can manage to make some money. You can also bail on the variant. If you don't like the variant you're in, if I'm playing the dark and I ain't seen any 7s, I'm in a variant where the 7s have kind of gone to the side a little bit. You don't have to bet it. Like I said before, the probabilities won't change. The 7 is going to make its appearance, right? Over time, it will average out. It will come back. If you haven't seen a 7 for a long time, you're probably going to see a cluster at some point later on. Can you predict that? No. It's going to happen, but you can't predict when it's going to happen. You can run away. You can turn your bets off. Take a breath, turn your bets off, go get a drink or something, walk away. You can bail on the variant that you're in. You don't have to bet 100% of the time if you don't like it. That's a feel thing. Mathematically, it doesn't matter. Mathematically, you put your bet out there, you're going to lose like I showed you. You're going to lose exactly what you expect over time, right? That's just the truth. There's no way to predict what's happening. You have 2 choices: bet the variant or bail out the variant, but embrace it. Either way, you have to just embrace what's happening, right? You cannot predict that those are going to happen. I'm sorry about that. Can a human create variance? This is going to be the last point I'll make here. I have friends. We all have friends that practice throwing dice, right? One of my good friends, Mudslide Mac, has this great quote. right? He says, I asked him point blank, like when I was first getting started with actually trying to throw that, why do you practice so much? And he's like, because I feel like I can create a variant. He's like, I create variance. So if you go back to my previous point and I say, well, this 36 roll variant, you might have 5 sevens instead of 6 sevens. In that same variant, you might have 1 less 4, 1 less 10, therefore 3 more 6s. He's trying to create that variant. He's not leaving it to random. He's saying that because of what I can do, I can create a variant. Okay, DI practitioners believe this, and they'll say things in this kind of way. The purpose behind setting the dice and throwing consistently and reading and reacting and adjusting your sets is to create a tendency, right? If you have the same set, the same toss, the same everything, the tendency is, in a dice influencer's mind, that the dice will start doing some of the same things over and over again. That's creating a variant. That's creating a trend by what you're doing. That's the only room that I can see anywhere for any kind of causality with all of this. You got to remember that. I know that people in chat are going crazy, right? I'm sure they are, because I'm speaking blasphemy. I know there's people that make a living trend betting. I don't care who you are. If you were a magician and you could tell what was coming on those dice, you wouldn't be in my chat telling people that I'm wrong. You'd be at the casino right now making your living. And that's the facts. That's the facts. If you knew what was coming, if you could really read the table like that, you'd never be here watching my show. You'd have your own show. You'd be selling books and you'd be a millionaire, because nobody can predict it. It's a random game. Ultimately, it's a random game. Even the dice influencers will tell you it's a random game. You're trying to create a tendency. You're trying to create a pocket. You're trying to create a tiny bit of variance, right? Not trying to throw 36 sixes. You're trying to get one more than you're supposed to, right? Small variance is where the world lives in this game. So that's what I have to say about this topic. I've said it a bunch of times. I'm trying to be as crystal clear as I can and honest about it. I think we have to be honest about where we are in this world, right? It's a random game. The probabilities don't change. Trends are not a real thing. Variants are a real thing. Variances occur, but there's no causality to the variant. It just happens around you. Bet the variant or run from it, your choice. Either attack it or pull back. If the variant is one that you don't like, you pull back from it, that's fine. Lower your bets when it's not going well, raise your bets when it's going great. That's smart craps. All right, there it is. It's not 2 words saying the same thing. And this is where I'm gonna have to call you out. It's not 2 different words saying the same thing. A trend is caused by something. A trend is a tendency, right? The weather trends a certain way, right? Financial markets trend a certain way because things are happening that cause a trend. A variant is random. It's mathematical randomness. It's what it is. It's not the same thing. A trend is something that you can look at and say, because this is happening, this is likelier to happen. That's a trend. A variant is like red and black and roulette. Is anything happening with that ball and that wheel that's causing red or black? No. It happens that you get 10 in a row all the time, but there's nothing that's being done to cause it. It's random variance, not a trend. It's 2 words that do not mean the same thing. They feel the same. They look the same, right? You might act the same when you see the thing happening. It's not the same thing. They're completely different. Got to remember, you got to really embrace that, folks. I don't want you to get sucked into this mentality of because I saw, therefore I will. That's BS. That's BS. You cannot predict what's going to happen. Okay? Because what's happening is happening, I may change a bet and hope that keeps happening. Hope that it keeps happening, not because that happened. There's no like looking back and saying this is going to happen now. It's, I just saw 2 reds. I'm staying red till it's not. That's a different mentality than saying, ooh, we saw 2 reds. That means a red is coming. That's a whole different mindset for the outcome. And that'll crush your bankroll. That will destroy a bankroll, people. There it is. I'm done. Soapbox off. Enjoy your Tuesday. Now let's have some fun. Let's get into the real meat of the matter here. I want to really jump to the 6, 7, 8. Now yesterday we did this. I don't know why I'm sorry. It's going way too slow here. We did 5-5-5 style yesterday, which was the $25 don't pass, 30 in odds, a $30 6 and 8, and we just worked it, right? We did a sister press and regress. We pull the odds down and we let everything out there be paid for and just see what's going to happen. Nature takes its course. We won 175 bucks. Awesome sauce. Today, I want to switch gears and we're going to go Jacob style. And Jacob's here in chat, I think, today. We're going to go the Wager Me This style, which is a little bit different. We're going to be at $100 on the don't. Why 100 bucks on the don't? Jacob made this great point yesterday. He said, hey, if you got more money, he bought it for 2,500 bucks. His don't was 250. Make your don't pass 10% of your bankroll, 10% of your initial bankroll. That's your level on the don't. 100 bucks on the don't. Okay. Depending on the point, we're going to make some decisions, right? If you're inside on the point, you're probably playing some kind of an iron cross. If it's a 5 or 6 or an 8, you're going to jump into the other two, get the field. And just like me, we're going to take the field win and we're going to get up in the box with it. The field wins are very inconsequential for the most part. Okay. You can do some variant betting in the field, right? If you catch a field number, same bet it. If you catch a second field number, you can move the money into the box or start pressing that field and thinking that you might be a little bit of a field variant, but whatever, right? Your outside point 4 or 10, right? Jack up the odds on the don't. Let's go across for less than the total. And let's start beating the crap out of the numbers up there, right? You know me, I love a 4 or 10 point. 4 or 10 is the point. It's harder to hit those numbers. Probability speaking, there's only 6 ways to hit them, which means you have an 85% chance of not hitting a 4 or 10, which to me means those box numbers are going to get destroyed all the way through. Give me that all day long. Give me a point of a 4 or 10. I'll lay on the point, like Jacob says. It's a beautiful strategy, and we'll beat the box numbers to death. Let's let math work for us in the box, right? Jacob's pattern typically is same bet, same bet, same bet. Once we're even, we start hammering, right? Maybe a little bit of a regression to lock some profit up. They're snapping. Half press, half press, half press, right? You got to feel it out a little bit. Jacob's way is a little more feel-based than the mechanical way that Greg has you play, right? Greg's 5, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8 is literally the 6, the 7, and the 8, and there's no variation. This one here has got a little bit of think to it, which is kind of cool. So let's go play it out. Let's get out there and play like a boss once you have it set. So here we go. Let's get up to the table. I know you guys are going to be talking amongst yourselves about what an asshole John is because he doesn't like trends and he thinks all trend bettors are morons. I don't think you're all morons, but I do believe that you're wrong. And there's that. So, I said it out loud because I have a show and I'm allowed to say whatever the hell I want to on my own show. Here we go. Let's get our bankroll. I gotta undo all this mess here. Hope that was helpful. Hope the discussion about expected loss up here was helpful because it does inform what's about to happen. Okay, here's going to be $1,000 bucks. I'm going to take this out. This is a practice session from last night. So let me get these chips out of the way here for you. Let's see. I was playing a strategy last night. By the way, if you haven't seen it yet, I was telling Jen about this. If you haven't seen Crappy the Crapsman's video with his lay 6, place 8 thing, that is a fun little strategy. That's actually, I love Larry's mind. That's a fun strategy. Here we go. We got $1,000 bucks in the bank, right? Let's just drop it, right? 10% on the don't. Let's see what happens. Let's just catch ourselves a point. I'll give you a couple of scenarios here, and I'm going to put my glasses on. And Jacob, since you're in chat and I can see you out there, if I screw this up, why don't you fix me? Okay, fix me. If I mess up, what you would have done. And again, I know you don't have a lot of strict rules on this one. A lot of it's feel, a lot of it's your experience, right? So here's a point of 9. All right, point of 9. Leave the don't as is. We're going to take $100 bucks. I'm going to get some quarters and reds for it. We'll get 75 and 25 for the red. Okay. Now you have a choice here. Okay. You could go straight up 5, 6, 8 and field. Okay. In this case, the field kind of doubles you up. The 9, if you hit the 9, right, you get 15 bucks. Big deal. Doesn't really cover anything on there. You're exactly leveraged here. You're 85 here. You're 15 here. You're 100 bucks in versus 100 bucks. You need one hit to do something here. Okay. You could forego the field completely and just grab the 10, right? I'm going to play the field. I don't know what's happening, right? I'm just going to play the field. Let's try and catch a win out of here if we can. I do like the double wins. There's a 4-2-6. 4-2-6. We'll get 35 bucks. Same bet. 35 bucks. We'll lose our 15. Now, personally, Jacob, I like this ratio better. I like a $10 field, right? Because of this scenario. I like to replace 10 and collect a quarter. frankly. I think 3 to 1 is the better ratio. You were doing it on your videos 15 and 30, 2 to 1. I'm going to keep it here because I don't have any nickels. If I get nickels, I'll go back to 15 bucks. But for right now, let's just keep it, we'll keep it clean and simple. All right, there's one hit, same bet. You're watching this, right? This, I need to be bringing back at least 100 bucks from up here before I make some kind of a move. There's a 7. So what happens here, the net result of this, let's take a look. We're gonna win 100, right? If I go back to my rack, there's 1,000, I've won 25 bucks on that shooter, okay? That's an important thing to watch as you go. Quick shoot, quick little shot, right? Little one hit and out. Ace, ace, ace. Gotta love that, right? And again, the Jacob way, the Greg way, most players, miracle, racket, 125 in profit, right? That was an absolute miracle, right? They don't happen very often. What does John typically do? John will do this, or John might even do that, right? Again, the variant, trying to catch a variant, you just don't know when a cluster is going to happen. When something good happens, I like to kind of jam on what's happening. Me, I'm aggressive down here. I'm gonna take my shot at this. We may get lucky, we may get unlucky, but the cost to me is potentially that, right? I'll take that. I'll take that risk. I'm gonna put this over here. You can see it better. There we go. There's my profit back there. All right, here we go. Still coming out. There's a 9 again. 5, 4, 9. Oh boy, the 9's trending, everybody. The 9. Let's bet the frickin' 9. No. 100 bucks. I'm gonna go here, here. I'm gonna go 10 in the field and bring back a nickel this time, okay? I could replace the field with 15 bucks next time through. Let's just keep it at 10 for right now. Hard 6, okay, good. Every win you get up here is gonna help increase the power behind that bet right there. So again, we're gonna lose our field. We'll put the field back. We'll bring back a quarter to the rack. Same bet. Same bet for a hot minute. There's a 10, 6, 4, 10 easy. Now Jacob likes to do this. Keep the same bet out there. This might not be a bad time to go to 15 bucks and have a couple of reds in here to keep it at 15 bucks. This might be not a bad chance to do that. The next field hit will start coming out. I'm looking for numbers over here that excite me. Not this one, not the 9. The 9 makes me angry. We lose our 100 bucks. That sucks. Puck will be off. We'll win 15 bucks in here. Okay. We already same betted the field one time. This 15 bucks is going to go somewhere. I'll put it to the 9 for now. I'll move it around later. I'll bring that back down while we're coming out. I'm not going to be deterred by that. Here we go. And yes, and oh my God, another 9. Oh, look at all the 9s that are coming. You're going to tell me that, by the way, that if I would have stacked up my 200 bucks, I would have lost. Fine. I'm willing to take that chance. You got to be okay taking that chance. It's fine. The 9 is the point. Let's make this look like a 10. Okay. I'm still 2 hits in. I'm counting my greens. Actually, it's 1 hit in for this shooter. This shooter has 1 hit in the box, and that, or 1 hit in the books, and that's it. Let's come back out over 10 bucks, or we'll do 15 now that I have reds. An 8 hard, 8 hard. That's our second hit up here, right? We will lose our field. We're going to win 35 bucks on the 8. Same bet here, same bet here. Back to the field. And again, we're counting greens, counting them greens, right? Another green, and we can start thinking about regressing up in here, okay? There's my 7. Didn't quite get it. Didn't quite get it. So what's our net result here? For this shooter, we got our tail kicked a little bit because for that session, we were ahead, right? This 100 bucks minus the 2 wins up here, you're actually up 50 bucks, but we had lost earlier. Now, I put all this back in the rack. Look where we are, please, 1,000 bucks, 75, 80 in profit. Okay, we're still making money because we're paying attention up here. We're playing it careful, okay? And again, after my 3rd box hit at $35 level, down we go. One more time through. Let's catch a different point this time. Can I catch a different point? Is Jacob yelling at me or is he saying I'm doing okay? Am I doing all right, Jacob? I can't see, but I can't. I'm going to go back. Actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to change my my filter on my chats to only look at what Jacob is saying. Man, he slapped. Are you kidding me? I snap a lot. God, that's funny. That is so funny. Go buy a steak. Here we go. Let's come out. Let's get a 8. All right, different point. We got an 8. Booyah. Still gonna be the iron cross here. We haven't seen a good outside point yet. There's a 6, 2, 8. That's our point. And again, I'm gonna go $30 on the 6, $25 on the 5. I'll take the $25. 15 in the field, 10 in the rack. Play that out. Let's see what happens. Let's get a couple of hits in here. We have less exposure because we have the 8. There's a 10, 6, 4, 10, $15. First hit, same bet. Into the rack we go. Keep it. Let's get a little bit of a shot here. Oh yeah, look at that. My favorite. Midnight. My table pays 1, 2, 3 times. Right? Guess what we get? The 4, the 9, and the 10. Right? Who's your daddy right now? Look at that. Now we're across. Give me an inside number, please. Yo, 11, yo, cheero. There it is, right? There's a yo. That's $15. Love it. Let's go ahead and get the 5 up to 40. I'll put that there. I'll get some whites out of here. We'll make our 6 look like 42. I know this is crazy, right? This is somebody saying, hey, those haven't hit yet. Why are you pressing things that haven't hit? Well, I'm going to use my wins from the field to get the most juice I can while I have the chance to. There's a 9. All right. Oh, wrong side. That goes over here. 9. $15 from that 9. That's a couple of fields in a row, right? Choices here, right? You can same bet it. We can grab the 9, 10, and the 4 up a little bit higher. We need to get a box hit up here, okay? Now, if you're counting the rolls, what did we hit here? We got our point of 8. We hit, I forget what we hit. What did we hit? We hit the 11. We hit the 9, the 11, or the 9, the 12, the 11, the 10. No, the 9, 12, 11, and the 9 again, right? So that's, we've had like four or 5 rolls. If you're of the mindset, oh God, the 7's coming, you might be a little scared right now. The 7's probably looming, right? I don't believe that it's looming. I believe that it's gonna come whenever the hell it feels like. If it takes my shit right now, fine. There's our 4th field in a row, by the way, and another mid, mo, yo. That's awesome. $15 more. We can make these look like quarters now. These are all free quarters, by the way. These 3 bets here, all paid for by your friends in the field, okay? We're essentially at 160 across with a field bet right now. Might not be the worst time to think about pulling some of that shit back, right? I mean, I'm looking at, let me go here and see what Jacob's saying. You're so far away, I can't see you, right? Yeah, play the box 9. This dealer sucks. Did I not pay the box hit? Oh, I didn't pay the box hit. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. I forgot the 9. I keep forgetting that I had the bet up there, right? That was a $21 one. Yeah, $21. And for me, that's coming back to the house, right? That's coming back to the house. All right, let's go. Let's go. Give me a freaking box number. 5. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, $42. $42. Lose our field. Maybe the field goes back. I'll leave it there for a minute. This is the time to look at your stuff. Okay, I got a full payment on the box hit. We have everything else jacked up. These are all jacked up from previous wins, right? This could be a time to bring these guys down to table minimum. Make them look like 15 and 18. Bring back $75 into the rack. If I bring back $75 in the rack and I color up a set of reds, that is my starting bankroll. I still have $15 for the field if I want it. I'm all the way across. These bets are regressed and fully paid for. These bets were totally paid for by field wins. And I still have $100 sitting there on the don't against the 8. Okay? The field, do we need it anymore? I don't know. At this point, whatever. One more roll. I can see it being out there. I may do a little field parlay in here now. This $15 to me is play money. We're on a decent roll. Let's let these things start paying off a little bit. We might even do another one hit and regress. I still want to have $100. Let me get that blacked up. I still want $100 in profit in my rack. I want to feel like I've got, you know, some actual teeth into this roll, because right now we're not quite there yet. Okay. There's a point in time too where I could actually hedge this off. I could bet the 8 for $90 and guarantee another 10 or $5. Let's see what happens. There's a 4. 314 is lovely. That's going to be $15 here. That's going to be 50 for 1 down there on the end. Likely here, because again, I'm chasing profit, I'm going to want to collect that. I'm going to want to put that up in here in the box. I want to make sure that I walk out of here with a guaranteed set of money. All right, here we go. 11 yo. 11 yo. Is that our 3rd yo, Tiro? Oh, that's got to go to the box. Sorry. That's our 3rd yo, baby. All right, 15 more bucks. We're going to stack that right up. We're going to make this a little gambit in there. $30 in the field. Let's get it done. Ah, there's our 7, which is okay. It's okay. We make $100 down there. We had a great run at this. Could have regressed these down. These could have became, instead of 75, it could have became 45. We could have brought back $30. I could have gone 96 across minus the 8 and been just fine. This right here, aggressive move because we're in a good little variant right there. Fine. I'll give that money up to take the chance at it. And where do we end up? Right? 50, 274. $274 in profit. Okay, again, it's just betting the roll. Just betting the roll. Nice and simple. Nice and simple. The big don't gives you a little more juice up here, a little more confidence to play. Notice we don't fear the 8. Okay, that's it. You're done. $250 on $1,000. Bye-bye. That's a couple steak dinners right there, Jacob. Huh? That's going to buy me something nice right there. Right, we're out, baby. We are out. And exactly, I think you're saying it here. Pull 20%. I could have totally pulled back down. If I would have pulled those greens down to reds, that last regression, free playing, baby, right? Totally in kill mode, right? Yeah, that's great. That was actually a good rollout. We tried to do. So yeah. Oh no, what happened? Did I hit the end? No, I didn't hit the end. We're back. So yeah, that was a good rollout. That was actually a super solid rollout there. To kind of demonstrate the way you'd play at Jacob style. That was actually nice. Yesterday, Jacob, if you didn't see it, oh boy, I picked Greg off like a maniac yesterday. It was great. All right, thanks for being there. It's hard for me to see the chats as you're saying it. I'm so far away from the TV set. Let's go here. I'm going to go here. Questions and answers. Let's just look at the Q&A really quick because it's 8:53. I'm gonna look at the PCs, and my God, the PCs there's like 50 comments down here because you guys hate me. Whenever I say something that you don't like, I can always tell because the chats go crazy, but the variant trend conversation is so important to make sure that we have. So here's the thing. This is a great, oh my God, Bob, I wish I would have done this before. This is such a perfect math question. The probability of rolling 2 7s in a row is 2.8%, okay? Here's the way you have to look at that. How do I explain this the best way? The probability of rolling a 7 right now never changes. At this moment, I have a 16.67% chance of rolling a 7. Doesn't change. That does not change. If, however, I say to you right now, I'll bet you $10 that you can't roll 2 7s back to back. Starting now, you won't roll 2 7s back to back. That's the 2.8%. That's the 16.6 times 16.6% chance we look at. It's looking forward at it. In the moment, whatever happened before does not matter. You're still at a 16% chance to hit that 7, no matter what. Shit run or go blind, that doesn't change. And people, the fallacy is you just rolled a 7. There's only a 2% chance you can roll 2 7s in a row. Bullshit. At this moment, looking forward, you only can see what's ahead of you. That's a 16% chance rolling 7. That never changes. People buy into that fallacy, go broke. They go broke. That has nothing to do with anything. If your bet ahead of time says you will not roll 2 or 3 or 4 7s, I'll bet you $5. That's a bet you take. That's a different way of looking at it. That's where your compounding complexities come into place. In the moment, looking ahead, no way. That's a great question. I'm so glad you asked that question because it's such an important thing to point out for sure. Let's see. Yeah, you bet everything. You bet them all. And right, you kind of see. Here's the thing. I started out before craps playing baccarat, and then after baccarat roulette, after roulette I went to craps. That was my order of progression. And Baccarat and roulette are super streaky, right? Nothing controlling. You can't, there's no dice influence. There's nothing. It's just player banker. And what you see in that game is you'll see player banker, player banker, player. That's a trend. Back and forth, back and forth. Another trend is 5 players in a row, 5 bankers in a row. Roulette, all the blacks, all the reds, right? No causality. Because a banker came doesn't mean a banker's coming. Because a red came doesn't mean a red's coming. However, we know that in those games, those streaks, those clusters of outcomes happens. That's why you bet them hard. That's why regression, 3-unit bet down to a 2-unit bet, and then up and pull. That's why that system works on those streaky kind of games. In craps, that's your line bets. You catch a line streak or a line cluster. That's how that stuff works. It's just you gotta embrace the reality of it. So yeah, you gotta figure it out. Oh, you know what, Doris? I should show your pyramid. I can't. I don't. Oh, well, you know, maybe I can. Hang on. You guys mind waiting a second here? Hold on. I will do this. Give me a second, Duracell. Duracell is a guy that's by all accounts, I've never seen him play, but man, the guy can freaking shoot. Let me show you this. Let me go up. I'm not going to show that video. Let's see. Can you all see this? If I move this, oh, I got to change views. Hold on. This is Duracell's rolls. 720 rolls. That's a bunch, right? Look at it. Look at his trend up here, right? Look at the flatness of these numbers. Way more 5s. 5s are equal to his 6s. Okay, he's really low in the 9s, way low in the 2s and 12s, right? Look at that. Look at that, right? That's a 7-6 SRR. That's what a variant looks like. This is somebody who's creating variance by his throwing. Now, is that an advantage? Can you bet this? Right? If you're throwing your dice in a way that they're more in a tendency to roll 5s and 6s, then yeah, you might think about an extra press in there versus not. Versus same betting in there. Like that's I think interesting stuff. I think the more of that you can do. And by the way, everybody, use the roll tracker. Use the roll tracker. The roll tracker that we've got breaks all the rolls down. I can break them down for you by shooter and do all sorts of stats with you. So you can always do that. Yeah. So Patrick always talks about theory, logic, and trends, and I don't like the word trend, right? And I think variant is the better word than trend. Trend implies causality. And a trend implies energy behind it. There's no energy behind this stuff. He was talking about streaks and clusters all the time. I felt like the word trend to me was always the wrong word to be using. So let's see. Aren't the light side bets supposed to be less in total than the 7? I'm not sure what you're saying. What are you saying there, Jen? I'm not sure I understand that. Maybe you're talking about, oh, you're talking about the total of bets there? Sure. I had $100 in bets versus $100 on the 7. The minute you win a bet, that ratio goes down. Jacob always says, like, you're increasing the power of that don't. When I play it Greg style, the place bets are more than the don't. And you're trying to transition quicker in that way. It's 2 hits and you're totally kind of done playing there. So let's see. I know. Yeah, I have seen the definition of trend. A prevailing tendency or inclination. A tendency, again, a tendency implies energy. Something creates a tendency, right? Me shaking the dice and whipping them down the table, there's no tendency for things to happen. A tendency, you have to realize what that word means too. And I think that's what's so important about this. The tendency of the dice to land on a 5, 6, 8, or 9 because I'm setting them and throwing them a certain way, that's creating a tendency. Because of you're doing something in a consistent way. If you're just relying on pure randomness, there's no tendency. It's just randomness. Now, randomness does land you in variance, and variance is mathematical, but it's not a predictable thing. Tendencies are predictable because there's motion behind a tendency. There's causality behind a tendency. It's a small distinction, guys, but it's important to know and embrace that. There is no such thing as a trend in a random game. There just isn't. There's variance, there is clusters, there are streaks, but there are no trends. And it feels the same and it looks the same. When you write them all down on paper, you're like, look, it was a trend. No, it was not. It was a variant. And there's a big difference, but there's randomness causes variance, tendencies cause trends, and there's no tendencies in a random game. I got to keep reiterating it. It doesn't, and you're not going to hear it. I know, because you don't want to hear it. A lot of people don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. A tendency has causality. Or variance does not. It's random. And I think that's what it is. Sure, Ken, you're oversimplifying it, right? You'll change your bet based on what you're seeing. I get it, right? People like Darksider and you and Patrick, you're going to change your bet based on what you're seeing. I'm telling you this. Don't make the mistake of saying, because I saw that, this is going to happen, or because that hasn't happened, this is going to happen. You cannot make those decisions, because that's where you get in your own head and make mistakes. That's the entire thing. You start out those betting sequences from a flat, and you grow, or you can shrink from where you are. But if you're going to go all in and say, oh, the 7's coming, I haven't seen a 7 in 5 rolls, it's coming, or I just saw 3 7s in a row, therefore it ain't coming again, you're kidding yourself. You're kidding yourself. And that's where people will send their money to the casinos faster. I mean, it's please hear my words. Hear my words, look up the definitions, understand the mathematical theories behind variance and trends. You've got to understand this. I know it's a small distinction, but it's an important one. It's a very important one because it drives your decisions. If you think about it, if you get it wrong, you're driving poor decisions. And I don't want to see that. Hope that all makes sense. I'm trying to explain this the best that I can. And there it is. That's my Q&A section. We'll just close here. It's 9 o'clock. I got to go upstairs. It's time for a longer Wager Me This session. I'm going to go to the garage. Give me like 5 minutes. We'll start up there probably 9:10. I'm going to make a new fresh cup of coffee, and we'll go play some 6, 7, 8 wager style up in the garage. Pray for me. Hope I get some good rolls up there and make this thing work again like it did here. So with that said, you guys are awesome. I know I make you mad sometimes. I make you think sometimes, which is more important, right? Formulate your like my dad would always say, right? My whole genisms thing, right? I'm going to give you things that I know are going to make you mad. I'm going to give you things for the purpose sometimes of making you mad. I want you to wrestle with these topics. Wrestle with the idea of trending versus variance. Wrestle with the idea of recognizing what you see and making your decisions based on what you see. Wrestle with all that. Please wrestle with that. You can email me, john@procrafts.net. You can come to Discord, call me all the names you want to. I don't care. I'm a big boy. I got thick skin. Let's have the debate, guys. Think about it. I'll see you in a little bit. And thanks for the thumbs down, whoever that was. Somebody just thumbs down me. Love you too. Happy Tuesday. Bye, all.